I've been thinking of changing my period products. Do you have any idea what's out there?
I'll show you. This is a menstrual cup. So a menstrual cup gets inserted into the vagina and it captures blood that comes straight out of the cervix. So the cervix kind of sits like that and captures the blood in there. So the menstrual cup's really great because it's reusable, it's great for the environment because you don't have to throw it out after each use. And you can use it up to a few years if you take care of it quite well. Another great thing about the cup is that you can actually wear it up to 12 hours. Some cons about it is that it can take a while to get used to. You have to practice a bit inserting, but we have another video on insertion, so check that one out. Just some considerations when thinking about the menstrual cup is that you have to wash it between use, just making sure that you're washing it with warm water and maybe some mild soap. But if you're waiting until the next period, making sure that you're sterilizing this, so either using boiling water or using something like a toy cleaner, a silicone cleaner, or other kind of sterilization methods that's recommended on the product. So this one costs about $20 to like $45, but it is just a one-time cost that you can use for a few years.
So this one here is a pad. It looks kind of like this. This one's got wings, so you can use it to attach it to your underwear. The great thing about pads is that they come in a wide range of like absorbency levels depending on how heavy or light your period is, and they don't require insertion like tampons or cups. A really big con though is that they're not quite environmentally friendly because you have to throw them out after every use. The average pack of pads costs around $3 to $10, though it sometimes depends on where you live as well. The recommended time for pad usage is about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how heavy your flow is. Another consideration with pads is that some people don't like the bulky feeling they get, especially when it's like hot outside.
Similar to the menstrual cup is the disc. So this sits up in the vagina under the cervix, similar to the menstrual cup. The only real difference is that it's used up to only 8 hours, and that's probably just because it's got less area to catch blood. And the disc also has this little part here. They all kind of look different, but they all usually have this little part here to grip that it's easier to remove and insert.
Tampons usually come in like 2 different types, so you can get them without applicators and with applicators. The great thing about applicators is they can help with insertion, which is usually one of the cons with tampons, is that you have to insert it yourself. The length of use for tampons is about 3 to 4 hours, depending on your flow. Tampons have different absorbency levels.
So these are some period underwear. So period underwear are like regular underwear, but it has an extra fabric here that absorbs blood. So period underwear comes in a range of fits. So they could be all the way from like a bikini fit to boxers. So period underwear are really good because they're non-insertive, so you don't have to insert anything, kind of like a tampon or anything like that. So it's less invasive for some people. Some considerations is that, or some cons, I guess, is that some people can feel quite bulky it can feel quite bulky, and maybe they have some discomfort with that. So the thing with these are that you might have to buy multiple pairs because you do have to wash between every use. So it's good to have multiple pairs, and every pair is around $20 to like $35. So just some considerations that they're a bit more expensive than things like tampons or pads, but they can last a while. And a great thing about these underwear is that you can wear it up to 12 hours.
So this here is a cloth pad, similar to like disposable pads. They hold the blood, they capture the blood, and you put it inside your underwear. Most cloth pads are washable and therefore reusable, so it's very environmentally friendly. It's unsafe to use unclean or old rags as it can lead to infection, so you always have to make sure that you're cleaning the pads really well in between use. You can use a cloth pad for about 3 to 4 hours or until it feels full. So some people make their own cloth pads, but you can also buy a lot of them at shops such as like
So another option is free bleeding, so that is just not using any products to capture the period blood. So choosing to not use any period products can be really liberating, and it could be the best option for you. A con to free bleeding is that you can easily stain clothes or fabric, so making sure when you're washing to use cold water to get out the blood. So a good idea is to have a towel or something to sit on when you're free bleeding, and maybe invest in something like a waterproof or splash blanket whilst you're at home. And one great thing about free bleeding is that it is free!
So this here is a menstrual sponge. It's used by inserting it into the vagina for it to absorb blood. Pros of menstrual sponges include it can be worn during sports, swimming, and even during vaginal sex. Some downsides to menstrual sponges include that they have to be inserted internally, which some people aren't very comfortable with, and they're single use only, so not very environmentally friendly. A pack of 5 menstrual sponges usually costs around $30–$35. And menstrual sponges can be worn for about 4 to 8 hours at a time. Something important to note is that you have to use synthetic sponges, as they're sterile and good, better to use, and not to use sea sponges as they're not sterile and not safe.